first tool I ever made for myself when I needed a thin parting tool. And I believe it was Sam Angelo, the Wyoming woodturner, had made a thin kerf parting tool with a recycled Sawzall blade. And I happened to have had a Sawzall blade that was burnt out around. So I took it and I took a cutoff wheel on the grinder and cut all the teeth off. And then I took it over to my belt sharpening system, my Sorby sharpening system, and made a little bit of angle to it. And then I'd never made a handle before, so this is a very crude handle that is epoxied together. When I make the next one, which I'll do for a how-to article for the newsletter, obviously I'm going to do things a little bit differently, but this is the very first tool I ever made myself, so I don't care because I had never made a tool before. I made this about 6 years ago, and so I'm pretty proud of it, and I use it every time I need a thin parting tool. One drawback if you're using a Sawzall blade for a thin parting tool is they are extremely flexible. So you need to be very conscious of keeping your cut wider than the tool, and you need to take your time because if you try to just get in there and power through it, it will bind up, it'll twist, it'll catch, and it'll do all kinds of things you just don't want to have a flexible, sharp pointed tool do. But if you're careful with it and use it correctly, it's incredibly useful to have a parting tool this thin. It's very, very useful, especially when you're trying to align grain on a lidded box. Super useful. So I will do a walkthrough of that for the newsletter. I have an old Sawzall blade sitting around to use.